Right. Right. So here's another question, guys. So, like I said, I have a client. He was telling me how, and it was weird. This is how the game goes. He previously, a week or 2 weeks before, got very great feedback
Okay.
from everybody, or they didn't say anything about him negatively. Then to come to find out, and actually, I'm gonna double check because I want to make sure. I want to educate everybody the correct way on this.
Okay.
That's what we do over here. We
All
educate
right. I'm here
the
for it.
people.
Educate.
I don't know if he deleted it, but I know what he asked. He asked me about something about a PIP. And I was like, I've never been on a
Mm,
PIP, but if you do get on one, it's time to find another job. And he said, would you ever just leave? Or I guess it just depends on the situation. I said, you'll always leave. You never get off a PIP, whether it's warranted or unwarranted. And he was like, would you just resign or put in for severance, even if the next job hasn't come yet? And I was like, shoot, depends on the amount. I was like, you know, do you, can you spend more time looking for a job? And I was asking him, did he mess up at work? And he said, they saying it's work performance, which is a slap in the face because of all the hours I work. Honestly, this job been taking a toll on my mental health. I want to leave 7 months ago, and I've been trying to hold on because it's easier to find a job when you have one. But yeah, he was a year and 3 months in. Yeah, so I must catch up with him. But like, I think that happens to a lot of
yeah, I've been
people. Like,
placed on
they,
one. Unrighteously so, which most of us do go through. Um, with my advice, I mean, I fought it out. I took the legal route. And it has,
tell us about that.
yeah. You said tell, which is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, as high level as you can.
um, s-
I had
yeah,
one of my people. She gave us a experience about how she got fired from her first job and got put on the PIP because she just was ignorant to corporate
mm,
America. So I thought this would probably be like a cool section to talk about, like to reach somebody who been either might be on a PIP or don't know what to do if they get on one. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So with a PIP, sadly for a lot of companies, it's just another way to save money pretty much. You're doing another layoff. You're trying to nitpick to legally excuse that person from employment. That's not something that's widely known, so I guess it is now. It's podcasted. But for me personally, I was placed on a PIP and I felt it was racially motivated, and the company had a lot of managers in place that should not have been managing. They just weren't good at it whatsoever. Um, and for me, I kind of went to bat for myself and I had documentation ready. I had my metrics. I'm very big on, my mentor used to always say, cover your ashtray. I am very big on documenting, saving emails. Whenever I receive an accolade, somebody says, great job, this, I call them impact statements. I always have that stuff ready. So when anybody can negate my impact, that's not true because this is what you said on our performance assessment. This is what you said on the mid-year. I'm ready. So for them, um, they didn't think I was communicating all of the accomplishments and what I was doing day to day. So for me, I contacted my local legal office. I made sure my HRBP was involved. And I went to bat because personally, when I wanted to leave, I wanted to make sure everything was pure. There was nothing in my record because what they'll try to do is sneak that PIP into your employment record when you resign. Um, and that way, when somebody calls and say if you're eligible for rehire, they can say, well, no, because we had to let her go, this, and this. So it's a sneaky way for a lot of employers to do it. Now, however, if you're solid in the industry, if you're continuing to interview, you keep your name out there, you can definitely just resign. And then when you speak to that next recruiter, that next hiring manager, just relay that there was just a mutual agreement that that opportunity wasn't within your best interest to continue. So it honestly depends. Do you have the fight in you to keep dealing with that toxicity? Or do you want to just, clean your hands of it and move on to something that's better for you?
Perfect. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they took the legal route.
Yes.
And I mean, like people don't know like who to contact. Like, do they just do they just go on Google? I've been placed on a PIP. Who could give me legal advice? Like, what are they? Who like when you say like local legal person? Like, who is that? Like, what should they
So
look
your
for?
local labor office, but your first step is always going to be going to your HRBP. You have to. I know a lot of people say it's scary. We all know, again, they're not operating in your interest, rather the company's interest. But the first thing that labor office is going to ask you is, well, did you talk to HR about it? That's the first step
Right.
that they want you to accomplish.
So paper
So you
trail.
have to do that. It doesn't mean you want to stay. It just means you tried. You try to make an amends with it. But your local labor office, they'll kind of put through your information to a lawyer that specializes. You can hire private counsel, but for those that are, they want to rein in their financials, their funds, you can just go through your local Department of Labor office, and they will definitely work your case through.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. That's
Hmm.
excellent advice. Hopefully that helps someone because we also know like we've reported on some of the things to where like some of these bigger tech companies have they're pretty
Yes,
sneaky.
they are.
They'll do something like, "Oh, you must move back in here. You must be in office, whatever time," knowing
RTO.
that you don't
Yep.
stay nowhere. Yeah, and then try to put you on a pit because of that. It's
Hmm.
like, fam, I don't stay nowhere. So they make ways to force you to
Yep.
quit, pretty much. So, like you say, so they can save some money.
Exactly.
No, you're definitely right about that.